Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm a short, overweight, middle-aged white dude. I've got thinning brown hair, black glasses, I'm wearing a grey t-shirt, and I'm standing in front of my front door because in this video, I'm not going to be talking about cars. Now, this is tangentially electric car related, so that's why I'm talking about it, but I thought you might be interested. Well, one of the really cool things about having a Tesla is the fact that you don't need a key per se. Now, it does, if you've got a Model 3 or Model Y, it does come with a key card, so you can use that as your key, and you can order a key fob if you do want one. In fact, I did a video about the key fobs, which I'll put a link to somewhere in relation to this video, but generally, if you don't want to use a key, you don't have to use a key because you can use your phone or your watch as a key to unlock and start the car. That got me thinking about how the only reason why I was now carrying a key around was for my front door. And as you can see, we now got a digital lock and we don't need to use a key for the front door anymore. So I thought you might be interested in the process of this digital lock. Now, I'm one of those people who I probably didn't need one as fancy as this with all the features that it has, but I like fancy and I like a lot of features, so we got a fancy one. So this is an Aqara D100. You do need to get, if you want it to work with Apple HomeKit, I believe you need to get the one that supports Zigbee, which is the one that you get in Australia and New Zealand, I think, but just check that it is the Zigbee model that you're getting. And that's one of the big things that I wanted. I wanted to be able to use it with my phone and my watch to unlock the door. And Apple introduced this new feature about a year or two ago called Apple Key, where it'll just use like the Bluetooth NFC kind of element of the phone and the watch to unlock. So I can just come up to this and use my watch to unlock the door. Now you might be thinking that it's possibly a security concern, that the fact that I've got it set up that automatically I can just walk up with my watch, tap, and unlock the door. Well, it's not really an issue because there's a security function built into Apple Watches that there's a sensor down here on the bottom that's intermittently feeling that it's connected to my wrist. So if I take the watch off, as soon as I take the watch off, the watch knows that it's not on my wrist anymore. And if you try and use it to open the door, it ain't gonna work. And I've got to put the watch back on my wrist, put in my passcode, and then it's going to work. Now you might go, well, what happens if someone forces you to put your passcode in and or they cut your wrist off? Quite frankly, if they cut your wrist off, you've got bigger things to worry about. So you've got the watch, you've got the phone, you've also got a doorbell at the top. I don't really need the doorbell because we've got a video doorbell besides this, so you can actually, I'm going to turn the doorbell function off. The function that I use the most, my wife and I use, is it's actually got a fingerprint scanner. So I've just got my fingerprint set up there at the top. It's then got, as you can see, a passcode, so you can set up a code, so you can put in a code, and you can set up multiple codes. So for example, for my in-laws and the neighbor, they've got a code as well, so if they need to get in while we're not home, they can use the code to get in. It's also got an actual physical lock, so you push this button down, roll it out, and then it's got an actual physical kind of lock thing. So if the battery dies or something goes wrong with the lock, you're not locked out of your house. You can just unlock it with a physical lock, and you can leave one of those with your neighbors or whatever. I wouldn't suggest leaving that in your car because someone could just break into your car and now they've got a key to your house. Yeah, and that's pretty much really all the features of the outside of the lock. Now, installation was super easy with this. I found a guy called Jimmy online, paid him some dollars, and he installed it for me. So I think you'll find that if someone else needs to do something, it's always really easy for you to do because you didn't have to do it. I would suggest, if you are the handy type, you could go in and install it yourself. Me personally, I'm not the handy type, so I thought instead of me stuffing that up and having to buy a whole new door, we would just get someone who's a professional who knows what they're doing to install it for us. Then in terms of the app, there are quite a few things that you can do with the app here. So for example, to set the app up. Actually, before I go onto the app, I do want to mention something that I wasn't aware of about this. So in order for me to access the lock from the app on the phone, and how you do that when you're setting it up is on the inside, and I'll show you the inside in a bit. On the inside, there's a QR code on the inside latch, and you can use that QR code to connect it to the app. But one thing that I wasn't aware of with the app is, at the moment, if I were to make any changes to the lock, I've got to be within Bluetooth range. So the lock at the moment doesn't actually talk to my Wi-Fi connection. It's not connected to my Wi-Fi network at home. So if I did want to connect it to my Wi-Fi connection at home and then be able to access it remotely. So let's say I'm on vacation in the Gold Coast and my in-laws need to come over and they've forgotten their code, I could just open the lock through the internet. If I do want to do that, I do need to go and get an Aqara hub. Now they're about 50 to $100, depending on which one you're getting. I'm not sure which one we're going to end up getting. But it was weird because in all of the paperwork and everything, it wasn't obvious that that's something that we needed to do. So I think Aqara could do a little bit better to make it obvious that you do need the hub to access it remotely. Hi, correcting voiceoverly here, and I just want to say that I was actually wrong when I said that you need to have the hub in order to unlock the lock remotely. So you can actually use HomeKit. So here I have the lock on my HomeKit app, and you can see that I've turned off Wi-Fi, so I'm on 5G, and if I flip this up, it will actually unlock the door. So you can unlock the door remotely without needing a hub, and you can lock it using the HomeKit app. So here we go, we're in the app, and you can see there that I've got my front door, and that's set up, and you can see all the stuff that you can do here. At the moment I'm disconnected from the lock, but you can see that it has now connected via Bluetooth automatically. You can see there that the doorbell was rung at 3 o'clock yesterday. You can go and you get all the notifications of when this happened. In fact, something that's a little bit annoying is that you do get a notification through Apple HomeKit every time the door gets unlocked and locked. So if I go and unlock that, I'll get a notification on my phone that that's been unlocked, and when that's locked, I get a notification that's been locked, which is a little annoying, but you learn to live with it. In terms of the stuff that you can do, if we go down into user management here, you can see that there's me, and you can set up multiple fingerprints for a particular person. So there's my code, there's my son's code, and there you can see my thumbprint, my wife's thumbprint. You can add, I think, up to 5 fingerprints per user. And then you can set up temporary users, you can set up passwords for other people and so on. So fairly straightforward in terms of how all of this works. In terms of how it works with your Apple HomeKit, so if I go into my wallet, you can see here that the key shows up just as a wallet thing. And one thing you do want to do, if you want, by default, if you just hold the phone up to there and get it to unlock like that, it won't do it automatically. You do actually need to use, you know, the face thing on your phone or put in a code on your watch to unlock it. If you want it to unlock it automatically, you go to the key in your wallet on your iPhone, tap on there, and then turn on Express Mode. And if you've got Express Mode turned on, then through Apple Home, it'll unlock that. Now let's jump into the inside of the house, and we'll just have a look at the lock on the inside and some of the features that you've got there. For the inside of the lock, there's not really much to it. There is the button here that you push just to open the lock and get out. So push that and that gets you out. I do like the fact that it's got a child lock on you. So if you push this little switch here,
child lock has been opened.
That turns on the child lock, and therefore if you've got a little kid, they can't just
child lock has been opened.
They can't just open the door very easily, and then it's very easy to switch that across. You then have also a physical lock, so down here you can just turn that, and that unlocks it physically. So again, if the battery goes or something in the digital mechanism goes, and then down at the bottom here, this is where the battery lives, and underneath here there's a little USB port, so you can just charge the battery just straight off the USB port there. And you will actually see in the app, and actually in the Home app, so if we actually go into the Apple Home app, you can see here that because it's been registered with the Apple HomeKit stuff, you can unlock and lock it with HomeKit, but you can also see the state of charge of the battery. The final thing I want to talk about is the actual physicality of the lock. Now, there is another model which is cheaper than this model, which is the A100, not the D100, and that's got an actual handle. I like the fact that this doesn't have a handle, so I can just put my fingerprint on there, unlock and push the door open, whereas with the A100, you would push and unlock with your fingerprint, and then you push the handle down. Not a big deal. But I like the fact that this one doesn't have the handle, so that's one of the reasons why we went with this. The other thing is, it is quite large, and I will admit, every now and again, we only had this installed about 3 days ago. Every now and again, I'll kind of like walk past and be like, "Oh wow, what the-" you know, like that's it is a noticeable thing attached to your door now. So particularly if you just had little things, and I'll put some B-roll now of what our door used to look like. So it is yeah, it's not subtle, I'll put it that way. But yeah, look, we've only had it for 3 days, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm still getting used to leaving the house without any keys, but we'll get there. And yeah, so far so good. So if you are interested, yep, it's the Aqara D100. Now, I will mention, I didn't get paid for this. This isn't a paid promotion or anything like that. I didn't get sent this for a review. I paid with my own cash money for that. I did try to get a review unit, but they weren't answering my email, so worth a go. But I really wanted it, so I waited until it was on sale, and I bought it. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. I hope that was interesting. If you have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, thank you so much for your support, and I'll catch you on the next one. Safe and happy driving. And now it doesn't work.